Hi and good evening. It is Miss Council back with you once again, and I thank you so much for continuing with me on this journey and joining me live right here on Facebook. Hope everybody has had a wonderful day, that you've been productive. I'll always say that. I'm going to always say that. I hope you're being productive because that's important. You've got to make every day count. So thank you all once again for joining me here tonight for another topic. Hey sis, thanks for joining. I always got my people here. That makes me so happy to see my people's faces popping up and joining me. Happy Veterans Day this week to all of the veterans, and I want to say happy Founders Day to the women of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority who are celebrating 98 years of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. My sorors. So happy to be a part of this organization and continue the great work of our founders. Hey, Sora. Hey, girl. Hey, Rosa's joined. Hey, big brother. He is on. Always got my peeps. They be here. Y'all are here with me live, and I appreciate it. Anyone who is joining us for the first time, I love it when you comment, when you have something to say. Let's keep it cute up in here now. Let's not be ugly. We're going to refrain from cussing and acting a fool up in here, okay? So I love to see your comments, what your thoughts are, your questions. Let me know. Drop it right there in the comments. I love it when you hit that like button, hit that those hearts, and I love it when you share. I see my people out here sharing my posts and sharing my video because this is a movement. We've got to get some people happy, right? Our neighbors, friends, co-workers, we got to get some people happy because there's some unhappy people that we got in our lives right now that we dealing with. And they need to work on some things, right? So last week we talked about the lies they tell about divorce and about marriage. We always grow up with some type of fairy tale. Everybody has some fairy tale, and it's a fairy tale because, hey, it ain't reality. It ain't what really happens in life, And then I talked about, you go to school, you get married, you have kids, and supposed to be happy, right? And it don't always work out that way. And so there's so many myths out there about marriage and also about divorce. Everybody ain't walk around here with their face dragging on the ground, but there's some people who are, and you know what? That's all right. That's okay to have feelings behind a relationship that ain't no more. But I talked about how, people say that you should move on quickly. You got to deal with it in your amount of time. Hey, baby brother, I see you're on. I see you popped in. Thanks for joining. But and I talked about baggage and the baggage that you carry from one relationship to the next. You've got to work that stuff out so that you can be the best you that you can be. So go and check that video out, The Lies They Tell, Marriage and Divorce. And so let's jump right on into it. Y'all know who I am, but for those of you who don't, I am Miss Counsel, and I'm a relationship and life coach, and I help divorced women get their lives back after divorce, and women who are remarried have more successful second marriages. Well, today's topic, just like any other, I'm going to catch you with that title. It's Me Against the World. No, not a song by Tupac, but that song did come to mind. Me Against the World. Sometimes you feel like that. And at one point I felt like that it was just like me against the world. I felt like there was no one out there who could possibly understand what I was going through. And I just felt like I had to just suck it up and get over it. That's how I felt. I created this bubble. It was an unbreakable bubble around myself. And I just told everybody I was fine. But I was far from all right. My friends and my family, I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. Because I ain't want people all up in my business. I ain't want to have to explain. I'm good. And I kind of grew up with a smile through it mentality where you just hold your head up and you get on your knees and pray and everything going to be all right. All the while, yeah, I say that on the outside, and I carried a smile on my face, but it was a fake smile. You know how they say, fake it till you make it? Well, fake it till you make it wasn't going to get me through that. Keep it on, continuing to fake it. I can pretend, you can only pretend for so long, but trying to get through what I was experiencing was a difficult thing. While I did understand that, hey, I wasn't the first person to be divorced, but, somehow I felt like my situation was unique. Like nobody else could relate to it. Hey, niece. I see my niece Brianna is on. That's my twin, y'all. Thanks for joining. But no one could relate. It was just me against the world. I know there's some people out there who feel like that right now. This it's me against the world. Like nobody else understands. Nobody else. Like my situation is so unique that if I tried to explain to somebody, it'd take too long for me to explain it to them, and they wouldn't get it anyway. I know there's some people out there that feel that. I felt like no matter what I did, the universe was just against me. The odds were just not in my favor. It didn't matter what I did. And I feared that I was going to just fail at everything that I tried. I mean, you know that feeling? That's a tough feeling. I mean, it makes you sad, depressed, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you just don't know how to get yourself out of there. I even felt like, in the mentality I had in the situation that I was in, I felt like, how am I going to be a good mother? Because kids, they mimic what they see, not really what you say to them. And so I said, how am I teaching my daughter to be, a strong woman and to go on with life and roll with the punches if I ain't really rolling with the punches? Just some food for thought. But that's how I was feeling at that time. Y'all, I was a whole mess. And some of y'all had probably seen me out here in these streets and like, oh, she good. Yeah, she bounced right back. No, I wasn't. I did not bounce back so quickly. Divorce can make you really question every fiber of your being. Everything you ever thought you knew, everything that you once were, you're just unsure. You don't know up from down, in from out. You had favorite movies. I don't know if I like that no more. You questioning your judge of character because, hey, you chose to be with this person. I was in the mind space of I allowed it. I allowed things to happen in my life. And I was over here taking credit for stuff that wasn't mine. Ish to own. I mean, your own morals and values, you questioning everything, even what you're teaching your children. Just like I just said a minute ago, being a role model for my daughter. Like, what am I teaching her to accept? I want y'all to think about that, moms and dads, the people that we deal with. What are we teaching our children to accept? I felt alone, abandoned, crazy, you name it. I know some people out there know what I'm talking about. I felt every emotion that you could come up. It was a whole gamut of emotions: anger, sadness, all of it. But y'all, once I climbed out of that pit of all of that, I ain't looked back. I was like, you know what? What's that song? I won't go back. Can't go back to the place where it used to be. Now, I ain't trying to go there. That's a gospel song. Y'all have to know what I'm talking about. But I wasn't going back. You know how you get tired of a situation, whether it's, I'm tired of eating the same thing. I'm tired of visiting the same place. I'm tired of dealing with the same person. Whatever it is when you get tired, that's when you're going to make a change. It ain't until you get tired, because if you still willing to tolerate and put up with, if you still got some of that toleration in your spirit, you're going to keep on getting some more of the same, because that means you're welcoming. It's just like you're opening the door to it every single time. Like, come on in, hurt me. Come on in, embarrass me. Come on in and act a fool on me, because you are opening the door to it. But when I tell you, when you get tired and you don't want to look back, you will get in your little car, crank it up. Whether you push the starter, you still cranking that that key. Thank you, babe. Y'all know my husband always right here. When you trying to turn that key, you will put that thing in reverse, back out, and keep going, and leave that situation. I mean, if you got to literally get in your car and leave that situation, you don't look back. I always say that the windshield is a lot larger than the rearview mirror for a reason, because you're not supposed to spend your time looking back. How will you ever get where you're going? When you put your directions in the GPS, it tells you how to get there. It don't tell you the reverse, where you can't, how to get back to where you came from. You can click home and it'll take you back there. But is that where you're really going? What is your destination? Don't look back. But you got to get tired. Remember I said first you got to get tired. If you like where you at, if you're okay with it, stay right there. Expect more of the same. You already have gotten a preview into what is it going to be like. So, hey, you like it? Love it. Okay? Just saying. But if you tired and you don't want to look back, that's where I was. I got to that point. I didn't want to look back, and I wanted to move along, carry on. And eventually, once I got what I call my happiness swag, I began attracting something different in my life. I began attracting the job, the positions, the life, the relationship, that I desired. I became involved in ministry, dance ministry. I was stepping. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was doing teaching computers to seniors and veterans. It was amazing. I found a purpose and I was helping other people. And I just started attracting something different, but I was doing something different. I wasn't looking backwards and trying to see where did I go wrong. I just set my sights on whatever the future is. And that was my happiness swag. And I just started attracting something different. I was really just focusing on me. I wasn't worried about if I was going to meet somebody. It was like, whatever. Yeah, I was meeting people. I was dating people. And I was like, yes, sir, this ain't going to work out. I mean, I remember having a conversation with this guy. And in the first conversation, I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to have to go. And he was like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, you need to give me a call back. I said, no, I'm going to have to go. Listen, I don't like my time wasted. I'm going to respect your time, and I'm, not going to waste your time, but this isn't going to work out. Well, how do you know from one conversation? I said, because I haven't gotten a word in edgewise, and I do talk a lot, but when, like, you ain't asked me now question, you talking about yourself. I was like, yeah, I know that ain't what I wanted. Even to entertain, even to have a discussion, even to talk to. This was not it. It wasn't a flow of information. It was let me tell you all about me. I literally put the phone on mute for 20 minutes. And he just continued talking, then realized I didn't say, okay. I didn't say any of those things. So, I wasn't really necessarily looking for somebody. Dating is different. Dating became different. I was dating. I was, just seeing, if there was anybody that was compatible. But that's what the dating phase is. You just see if you're compatible. And then you have that. Remember, I talked about several videos ago, the automatic out. It's all right. And I just wanted to be honest with him. Like, look, this ain't going nowhere. From the first conversation, we never met in person or anything like that. But I was just focused on me. And every day that I woke up, I had a purpose. I was on a mission. And I was satisfied with myself at the end of the day. But remember, first I said, you got to get sick and tired and not want to go back in order to be able to move forward. I really defined my happiness and what it looks like. And I didn't hinge it on the approval of others. And I also wasn't worried about somebody else's advice, and certainly not a significant other. But, I just got to that point in my life, like, what, I'm sick of this. I got to do something different, because whatever I was doing wasn't working out. Asking for what you want and getting it, that's two separate things. Asking is like posing a question, and it gives the opportunity for somebody to deny your request and pretty much just say, no. But what I want is not optional. I mean, you can also, and you should get to that point where your happiness is not a compromise. Like, oh, you got to give a little, get a little. Yeah, theoretically. But when you know what you want, you know how you get your mouth ready for that macaroni and cheese, but it's either gone or somebody else made it, and it ain't gonna taste the same, but you tried anyway. That's a compromise. You just compromised right there. And you already knew it wasn't gonna really be what you wanted, but you went ahead and did it anyway. Do you regret it? Do you just go ahead and eat the rest of the serving because you put it on your plate? Or you just let that thing go? It's a whole lot of macaroni and cheese gonna be sitting on the plate at Thanksgiving. It always is. But your happiness is not a compromise. It's a requirement. And you have to feel that way. But you have to get sick and tired first of just accepting whatever. You don't have to go out demanding and stumping your little feet and say, I demand, to be happy. No, you show and tell. Other people, they'll have to get with it or they get gone. I mean, those are their two options. But you don't have to compromise your happiness to be with somebody. That's what I learned. That's free information right there. Had to learn over time. But, I was able to finally move through things and get to a point where I was more optimistic versus being pessimistic. I can't talk. But I became more optimistic, that being that me against the world, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And as life would have it, things went wrong throughout the day. Hey, it might have rained and I forgot my umbrella. But was the day going to end because of that? No. But Instead, I decided to just roll with the punches. If there was a monkey wrench that was thrown at me, I learned how to bob and weave, y'all, and just keep on pushing. That's what I'm telling y'all. Y'all got to do. That's a tip. Bob and weave and keep on pushing. If next time, make sure you got that. You check the weather before you leave. Maybe you need to wear your rain boots that day. But life is going to happen. Whenever you feel like you're up, it's going to be something that's going to make you feel like you're down. But it's about perspective, and you got to switch your mindset. You got to shift your mindset so that it's not like a gut punch. It's more like a, ooh, okay, all right. Let me switch up. Let me switch gears a little bit. You know how when you're cooking a recipe, I know I'm always talking about food. When you're cooking a recipe and you realize, like, dang it, I forgot to buy this item. I forgot to buy the Worcestershire sauce. Nobody can pronounce that. And it's got to go in this recipe. But then you say, let me go to this pantry. Let me see what else I got. Oh, I got some of this red wine. Or I got, some seasonings. Or there's something else that I could possibly mix in there that might taste all right. And you mess around and you adjust to that monkey wrench that was just thrown in. And the recipe turns out great. And everybody loves it. And you say, you know what? I'm going to do that again the next time. I'm not going to buy that sauce that nobody can pronounce. I'm going to do that again next time. So you just rolled with the punches and kept it moving. And that's what you got to do. And stay hydrated. Y'all know I got to drink that water. So I know y'all heard my story a million times, but I'm going to tell it again. I went through divorce. I got married young. I went through divorce. And, I was really going through it for a long time. I don't want y'all to think that this was short-lived. Like, oh, it's a couple months and I was, it ain't like a short diet plan. And then everything was all right. Because remember, I had to figure some things out on my own. Ain't had nobody tell me nothing. Because I kept it to myself. Like Terry says, it's nothing wrong with being a private person. No, there's nothing wrong with being a private person at all. But I was keeping stuff to myself because I didn't want nobody to know what was going on. It's a sense of embarrassment that you have when you're going through divorce sometimes. Because everybody was at your wedding and everybody smiling and cheesing, you looking all cute and they taking all these pictures and everything. And they ain't have social media back then in my practice marriage, when I had my practice marriage. But, but you don't want to live that life out and out loud and everybody know what's going on. But as I went through things, I promise God, you know how we are, feel like we on our last leg. Lord, if you just please help me out of this. And then you make these promises. Well, I said, if you ever get me out of this rut that I'm in, I'm going to help somebody else. And boom, after I got out of that rut, 4 years ago, I published a book called Divorce Does Not Equal Damaged. And it's a self-help book and with steps to get your life back after divorce. I mean, who don't need to get their lives? I know I needed to get my life snatched back into place or whatever the new normal was. And, I know that I needed that. I'm the person that's the go-to person for my family members, my friends. And I was in need of somebody to tell me what to do. Sometimes you need some steps. Like, how do I do this? Just like we follow that recipe, we need the steps. I mean, that if you're making chicken, that you have to wash it and put some seasoning on it and heat it in some way to a certain temperature. But you need some steps in life. And if it's something that you've never done anymore, we can go on YouTube and try to figure that thing out and see how to do it. But that's what I was looking for and I couldn't find it. And so, once I got through, once I made it over, I wrote the book with some a self-help book just with some steps to get your life back, to the steps that I followed to get my life back after divorce. But they're actionable steps because you know what? I love reading, but I don't need a big book thick as the Bible. That's 539 pages. It's going to take me 10 months to read it with everything else I had going on in my life. I'm like, I need a quick hitter that I can go ahead and read. I can put that book down and go and do it. And, I focus on these steps. And once I finish these steps, I expect something great out of that. Actionable steps that help you move ahead in your life. That's what I wanted to create. Actionable steps so that you can let go of things in your life and people who no longer suit you. I wanted to share with y'all some of the comments, some of the feedback some of my readers gave. I have 3 that I want to share with you. I recommend this book to any woman who's ever been divorced or struggled with love. The other person said, Miss Counsel's steps to getting your life back after divorce are relatable, transferable, relatable and transferable for anyone that needs a reboot after a life-altering setback. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Another said, often there are layered emotions that cause us to be stuck. Acknowledging my own feelings of failure was easier when I saw that I was not the only one that felt that way. Y'all, that one resonated with me because, hey, that was me. I really felt like I was stuck, and I had that whole gamut of emotions and I didn't know where to start. It was just like I was, in a maze. And if I needed somebody to say, go that way, do this. Um, but I know that life is so full of lessons. There's so many things that happen in our lives that I think it's too good to keep to yourself. When you really hit that thing and you know what it is, like, oh, go use that machine. Go, that's the machine you want to play right there. It's too good to keep to yourself. I mean, your story and my story, they're not unique. I mean, there may be some little things that are different, some little nuances, but I hope that I can help someone not to struggle for as long and go through so much by themselves and be able to become a better woman, a better them for themselves, and also as a result of that, their children. Because if I ain't all right, how is she going to be all right? Because she's looking at me. How are our kids going to be okay? Mothers and fathers, how are they going to be okay if we're not okay? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And I'm going to tell you, nobody knows me like that. I ain't gonna call her a little girl. She's almost 18. But like my daughter, nobody knows me like she does. She could stand there and look at my face and look at my eyes and know something's wrong. They see it and they can hear it. Except for if you're calling them to come and wash the dishes, but they hear, they know what's going on. So those silent cries in the shower and on your pillow at night, they know what's going on because they'll come and give you that hug when it's needed. But we got to be all right for our children. They're the ones who are important here. Mothers sacrifice for their kids, fathers do too. But in divorce, it's the primary parent, the one who they live with, that's going through so much, trying to get themselves together, still trying to maintain some sense of stability or normalcy in their family, in their households. All the while they're going through it, hurting and confused, and they're just not able to move forward. Remember, they're stuck, like the reader said, they're stuck and forcing a smile the whole time. She was I, and I was her. So I understand. The book was successful 4 years ago. I published it. It's been successful, and those reviews just really helped ground me and help me prepare for what needed to come next. And so last year I hosted a workshop called Divorce Not Damage, and I was really honored because I had both men and women who were in attendance, and also had some married folks who just wanted to come out and support me. But all the while, they all learned something for the workshop. And I was like, they learned something from little old me. People been married 20 something, almost 30 years. How'd you learn something from me? And having those conversations. But it was valuable feedback that's really helped me move into the next phase of creating this live platform where I can talk to my people. To talk to my people and, share tips for those who are single. Hey, it's good for you to hear it too. Like what are the mistakes? What are the lies they tell you? Sharing, that there is baggage and happiness is for you. It comes from within you. It doesn't come from somebody else. Those are things that I say all the time. But not only am I sharing my story, but giving tips and advice to those who may be dealing with the heartache that once plagued me. Hey, Rosa, she did attend a workshop, and she said, as a single person, never married, I learned a lot. Thank you, Rosa, for that live feedback. But it is important for singles also we learn from each other. I learn from singles, and trying to get our lives together and move forward because marriage ain't for everybody. It may not be what somebody wants after they've been married for the first time. After their divorce, they may not want that, but they have to determine what it is that they want in life. And I want to help them get past that hump of divorce, that rut of divorce. So every year when I sit down in January, I sit down and say, what am I going to do for this year? I have to set some goals for myself every single year. And I thought about what can I do to take this to the next level? So I wanted to be able to reach out to more people and create more workshops and host some relationship panels, meet and speak to more people, more divorcees, more singles. And actually had something planned. We were going to host, my husband and I were going to do a kickoff a launch party, meet and greets in like April, but we ended up having to cancel it. Well, postpone, never cancel, but postponed until, it is safe for us all to get together again. Because this is a movement. Divorce does not equal damage, is a movement. And I want y'all to know that I'm working on those things. That's what I'm doing with this live platform and taking things to the next level. But I want you to know divorce does not define you. Being single does not define you. Being a single parent does not define you. You determine who you are and who you offer a seat at the table, your table. Who you gonna offer a seat at the table? It better be somebody worth some, with some business about themselves, worth your time. But this movement, I'm taking it to the next level. And so this year, one of my goals was to obtain my life coaching certification, and I've done that. And I've worked with my marketing coach, Jay Cawley. Shouts out to Jay Cawley. She has gotten me all the way together. Been working with her the majority of the year, even before this pandemic started. But I've created a one-on-one program where I can work with divorced women and help them get their lives back after divorce. This program is called the Divorcee Academy, and there's a link on this video to it, but it's called the Divorcee Academy, and it's a 6-month program where I guide you through the process and activities and one-on-one coaching. Sometimes even the strongest women, we need a guide. I know I needed a guide, but that's my role as your coach in the Divorcee Academy. And, together, we'll work through things and you'll come out on the other side of this stronger, clearer, and better for you and for your children. So if you're ready, drop a comment here and says ready to work. Or you can go to my website, misscouncilknows.com/divorcee academy and book a call with me to find out how we can work together. Listen, you are not alone, and you are not the only one who has ever needed a hand in getting through a tough situation like divorce. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of strength. I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I appreciate each and every one of you. Watch this video live, or if you're watching it in replay, please catch us next week live right here again. Y'all know that I am Miss Counsel, and Miss Counsel knows a little bit about everything. I ain't telling you what I heard, but I'm telling you what I know. Y'all have a great night and be blessed.